I'll ask this, well, it's probably a simple question, maybe a complex answer, but just through all your experience, what do you believe is the root of the issue? Like, where does it really begin?
You know, it is a simple question. It's a simple answer, but a complex answer. We have to make America believe in the Declaration of Independence. You know, I get in a lot of trouble, Mike, every time I pick a jury. And, you know, we go all over the country picking juries, fighting, trying cases. Thurgood Marshall is my personal hero. And so a lot of what I do is based on what he did back in the 1940s and 50s, fighting for equal justice for every American. And so when I'm picking a jury in a courtroom, I literally go one by one and I tell the jury, I know that you can recite the Declaration of Independence, but do you really believe it when you say we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equally, that they're endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that amongst them are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? And, you know, I would ask them and I would say, you know, do you believe it? And then the other side would object and the judge would say, well, move on, Attorney Crump. And I say, well, Judge, if they won't agree that this black person who was killed unjustly has the same equal rights as the white police officer or black police officer or Hispanic police officer who killed them, then this case is lost before we began. And I make a big deal about it because really we don't have a chance if they won't see these black people as equal to these white people in most of the instances. And that's why you see this happening over and over again. And it's not just with police, because police are the low people on the pole. It is the criminal justice system itself. Worse than how they killed Trayvon Martin, worse than how they killed Michael Brown and Ferguson when we were talking about hands up, don't shoot. Worse than how they killed 12-year-old Tamir Rice in Cleveland on the playground. Worse than how they killed Eric Gardner, the first I Can't Breathe case, Pamela Turner. Worse than how they killed Botham Jean, the young man who was a CPA in his own apartment in Dallas, Texas, eating ice cream, and the white police woman allegedly came into the wrong apartment, shot and killed him, and then she claimed self-defense. Worse than how they killed Terrence Crutcher. I mean, the list can go on, but worse than how they killed George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, is how they kill young people of color, especially black people, in every city, in every state, in every courtroom, every day in America, with these trumped up felony convictions based on bias, racism, and discrimination. You can have little white boys and girls who have similar fact patterns to little black boys and girls. And you don't take Ben Crump's word for it. Go sit in the back of any courtroom in America and you just watch how the young white people get a slap on the wrist. But then you have the young black people never get the benefit of the doubt, the benefit of consideration, the benefit of possibility. They're taken over to the corner of the courtroom, they're fingerprinted, and they are handcuffed and charged with a trumped up felony conviction. It's so bad, Michael, that in my home state of Florida and states like Tennessee and many of the other states around the country, they say 1 out of every 5 black men will be a convicted felon. And they say if that trend continues in the next 25 years, every 1 out of 3 black men in America will be a convicted felon. So when I give speeches and such, I ask the audience to do me a favor. I want you to imagine that you are a parent of a black son. And I want you to imagine that you have a black male nephew. And I want you to imagine that you have a black male cousin. And I want you to imagine that these three little black boys are around the age of 6, 7, 8 years old. And in your mind's eye, just imagine them at play like most children do. And as you observe them, try to figure out in the next 10 to 20 years, which one of those little boys are going to end up as a convicted felon who has your blood running through their veins and end up living a life as a second-class citizen because they are forced to wear this convicted felon label like a cross on their back forever. Every time you punch their name into a computer, the first thing that comes up is that they're a convicted felon. And so they are forever reminded that you are a person who we have written off. And so every time I see him, Michael, because many people, and I think about not just people I went to high school with, not just people in my church, not just people who work with me who have family, but in my own family. There are people who have been branded as a convicted felon. And I always try to remind them that, we still believe that you have redeeming qualities. We still believe that you can be a constructive citizen in society. We still believe you're one of the best things that your mother and father gave to the world. We still believe that God has a plan for you. We still believe in you. And we have to constantly remind them of that, because if we don't, I believe that we will have an entire generation of young black people who our racist criminal justice system has written off as being undeserving of equality.